Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today, we're going to do our commodity technical analysis update. I'll say that there are a lot of opportunities out there right now. So you should be looking, you should be scavenging companies, looking at their charts. To me, it looks like we're ready for a move higher. Some of these have already broken to the upside. They're getting their stride going to the upside. And there's some that are still lagging, there are opportunities out there that haven't popped yet. We're going to be talking about that at our 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time Platinum question and answer session for the finding-value.com website. There is a discount right now, coupon code discount, and we'll see you there. So let's dive in here. We'll go over our normal dollar 10-30-year yield, precious metals, and other commodities, and I'll give you my financial opinions. So let's dive in right now. We've got the DXY. One thing I want to tell you or show you is last bull market where we bottomed in the ratio was right here. We peaked out in the ratio here. There's your buy and sell signal. During that commodity bull market, we saw the DXY strengthen. We turned up top and went back down. That was the commodity bull market cycle. Now we're seeing something similar. We had weakness in the dollar before. We had strength, and now it's turning around and heading potentially lower. We were down a hefty 1.5% or so today. A big move, and it finished quite strong. We could see further weakness in the dollar over time. This weakness in the dollar is a tailwind for our investments because our investments are priced in dollars. So as the dollar becomes less favorable against other currencies, people prefer to invest in other currencies like emerging markets or international stocks. And you'll also see commodities have a nice tailwind behind them. So the dollar DXY heading lower is usually a tailwind for commodities. The 10-year yield, this is yields now, basically flat today. We call this a bloody nose if it was in the other direction. It's usually a continuation pattern to the downside. The markets think that the inflation problem is not necessarily solved, but becoming less aggressive, put it that way. It's not as bad as it was before. Yields are coming off, and people are coming back into bonds at these higher yields. Bond prices were basically flat, but that's a bloody nose. More than likely in the short term, it will be a continuation pattern to the upside. And TYX was also flat. It's an inverted bloody nose. So yields could fall here. Bond prices could go up. I think that we're going to see similar action in the precious metals market with tailwinds behind it. The TYX TNX ratio, it's that little bloody nose. There's actually a little trading day there that I just marked. But I expect this to kind of come back up. We should probably see some liquidity come back into the system, as weird as that sounds. There could be QE. I don't know what's coming. We'll see what's coming. Less rate hikes, more QE down the road. I don't know when that will be. Maybe the Treasury has something. Usually these move before news comes out and before we know it. People are positioning. CRB index looks fantastic. We've got a wedge formation that's broken to the upside. We've done a return move, and we're starting to head higher. The opportunities in some of these areas, I think, are now. And I can help you with those opportunities if you'd like. The CRB to SPX, though, commodity to stock ratio, heading a little bit lower today. Stocks have had a pretty wicked sell-off. And this is going to cycle back and forth. We're in a consolidation period right now. And that consolidation period will end at some point, and stocks will come under pressure again in the future. But right now, they're rallying quite good. Gold, with that weaker dollar, we're cutting through these resistance lines like a hot knife through butter. This is another, I'll extend it out, of a long-term resistance line that we had before, and we're cutting through all of these. So gold looks very favorable right now. Looks really good. Silver also getting that little bloody nose that we've seen, which is kind of it's a continuation pattern. We're above support resistance as we're using it as support right now. And I think we could see higher moves. Platinum also getting a little bit of selling pressure here. We could see maybe a small down day next trading session. We'll see how much the buyers are there. If the buyers step in and whomp it, hey, we're still heading higher. But momentum is definitely higher. We did get a momentum shift today with the wick. We came up and sold off, and we'll see where it goes Monday. XAU to gold ratio, basically flat. We still have a little bit of work ahead of us to break out of this downtrend line where we all just start partying, because this is going to be a big move if we can break this thing. And I think the market conditions are ripe for that to happen. GDX today was up a little bit, and we'll see where this goes. Everything looks good. We've got the downtrend line break, the sideways motion, and then now we're heading higher. It doesn't mean that every single day will be higher. We could have pullbacks and stuff, but the momentum and the overall general move, I think, will be drifting sideways to higher. SILJ also above a key support level, and I think we're going to go sideways to drift higher. Crude oil finding some feet underneath it, driving higher today, 2.9%. We're still in this pattern that's squeezing up. We've been bouncing off this resistance line at about $94. You could say it's a little bit lower. It's somewhere in that range. We want to get above that. We want to get above it, close above it, and use it as support. We also have another kind of resistance support line coming through this general vicinity at about $96, $97. We need to clear all that, and I think we will. Give it time, and I think it's even possible to do all that this year. Natural gas, it is volatile as all get out. We're just going back and forth, ping-ponging between this resistance line there and the support line at the bottom. I do think that the opportunity is down here over this next month, and I think that we'll eventually work our way higher. Could be substantially higher when the Freeport LNG terminal comes back online, and I don't know exactly when that's coming back online yet. XOP, yeah, you know me, heading higher, 3.14%. The oil companies are looking pretty strong. We had a pretty good move today, 3.14%, and the monthly's looking good. We got a strong resistance line on top of us at 175. OIH also moving up today, 3.3%, working higher, and it looks pretty good. We've broken out of the downtrend line. Let me put on logarithmic so it doesn't make me look ridiculous. We've got this coming through here. We're heading higher. It's looking good. This is where I exercise patience. Let it do what it needs to do. And if we get a pullback, that's okay too. We're above all the broken resistance lines. The uranium futures pricing contract was flat today, just moving sideways. We've got the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. That is also, down 0.9%. We're still in the uptrend. Everything looks good. And what I'm seeing is a little bit of positioning in URNM. We're still squeezing up on the Sprott Physical, and we want to break about 18.22, somewhere in that range. We want to get up above it, close up above it, stay up above it, and use that as a support line instead of a resistance line. URNM up today. We are up 3.16%. It looks good. And a lot of the companies in uranium, if you start looking at some of their charts, they are squeezing. They are squeezing. When you get some squeezing, you get pressure built up. And when pressure builds up and that pressure is released, that's where you get big moves. So I'm seeing a lot of that pressure build up in the markets, and I've got my favorite companies. And I'm going to share that Saturday, tomorrow, during the meetings and show you guys the setups. We've got TAN here. TAN, a small down day today, 2.45%. Big picture view, though, this looks very good for a continued move higher. We've got copper. Copper's ripping it, 4.3% for the ETF. We got above that support line, and we're ripping higher still. So that looks very good. I know copper inventories are very low, and I'm playing a lot of this with diversified mining companies, the big mines. Lithium also ripping higher, up 2.4%, looking pretty solid. Let me get these lines out of here. But that looks really good for potential move, continued move higher. Rare earth metals up a little bit. We do have a little wick at the top. We'll see if we get a little bit of a pullback, but we're above all of this support, and it looks really good from a long-term perspective. So I think overall, big view picture, I think that we will continue to the upside. The overall markets, the S&P 500, still looking strong, finishing strong for the S&P 500 in the short term, and the NASDAQ is also finishing strong. Weaker yields and weaker dollar generally do well for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Emerging markets with that weaker dollar moving higher, this thing is hopefully engaging launch mode here. But that's looking really good. We can throw in a trend line, and we're breaking through that. So that's a good thing. Looks pretty solid. XHB broke through its trend line yesterday, and today is extending those gains 1.31%. Big picture view, what we did is we have this long-term resistance line. We just flew through this thing, and that we pulled on back, and that's our return move. Now we're moving higher, I think. Looking at Moo is basically sideways right above support. Think of this as our agricultural fertilizer, kind of those big ag businesses. Copper, the physical future pricing of copper, rocketing higher, 4.83%. It broke out of its downtrend here, and it's starting to get moving. A lot of very big, overall big patterns are breaking in the diversified mining companies. Lots of opportunity there. Lumber still chopping sideways, but I think that will head higher with the rest of the commodity group. Iron ore slightly higher today. Nothing to really write home about, and we'll see if this thing breaks this falling wedge. We break the falling wedge, I think the shipping industry is going to do very well, and I think we're seeing some front running in the shippers. Aluminum ripping higher, up 0.93%. This is a weekly candlestick here. That's the bloody nose. The bloody nose knows that it is a continuation pattern. So that looks really good. Baltic Dry Index just sideways. It is squeezing up in this falling wedge. We've got more selling pressure on a weekly candlestick basis in coal futures. But if you look at it from a big picture view, we've broken out. We had a return move. That's basically where some of our other companies are at, is in this area, like Vanek, agribusiness, like some of the home builders. We get these large bases, they break out, they do a return move, and then they usually rocket higher again. Is this a topping pattern? Yeah, it could be for a little while, and we'll consolidate for a little bit, and then we'll work our way higher if the energy crisis isn't solved. We also have Ethereum here. What I'll say about Ethereum, I'm not a Bitcoin person, but I am a charter. All right. This pattern, to me, looks good. If you're courageous and you want to buy a bottom, we have not broken the downtrend yet. I will say that. But what I can say is we're moving sideways, and I don't see a new low yet. And if you were to back out and take a bigger picture view, let's do the weeklies. We're getting these wicks on the bottom where buying pressure is. There is support down underneath us down here. Now, we could rip it to the upside here, guys. It is a possibility. And here's Bitcoin as well. I look at everything, and I've seen these patterns a lot when I look at this. And the pattern I'm saying is it's this correction there. You go into the I call it the valley of despair, which is this entire valley here. And then you get this kind of like scare slingshot cheetah mode. And the slingshot could potentially be right where we're at. There are opportunities here. And I'll talk about some crazy opportunities In terms of the symmetry of it, there's some ways that you could put a lot of, we'll call it like an option or something on it, if we want to, in this general vicinity on something. And I'll talk about it on Saturday during the Platinum question and answer session. It'll obviously be recorded if you guys can't make it. But I'm looking at potential opportunities. I'm looking at the symmetry of everything. I want these gigantic asymmetric bets where I could lose 40, 50% of my money to the downside, but my returns could be 1,000x, 100x, whatever it is. I do think there might be some out there. I'll talk about those opportunities. There's different ways that we can play it. I'll give you guys the options of how we could maybe play this. I've already engaged in some of it. I have a little bit of money that I just swing for the fence with. If I lose it completely, no big deal. Doesn't hurt me. So I've got the base of the portfolio in a diversified out in things that are working quite well right now. And now it's time to swing for the fence in some of my stuff. That's just me personally. So when the risk is the lowest, I take the biggest swings possible. And if I hit one that goes way out of the park, perfect. That's what I want, right? So that's what I've got. Again, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow for the Platinum members session. I'd love to have you there. There is a discount if you want to join. Coupon code discount. And if you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll catch you guys next time. This is Finding Value.